I want to welcome everyone to this SCORE presentation, and I'm anxious to learn more from Jessica about our topic today, win customers with your website. But first, I'd like to say a few words. About the organization I volunteer with, SCORE. It's the nation's largest network of volunteer experts, business mentors, and is dedicated to helping small businesses get off the ground, grow, and achieve their goals. Since 1964, we have provided education and mentorship to more than 11 million entrepreneurs. SCORE is a 501c3 nonprofit organization and a resource partner with the U.S. Small Business Administration. Thanks to this generous support from the SBA, and because of the selfless contributions of more than 10,000 dedicated volunteers nationwide, we can provide almost all of our offerings at no cost. In our local chapter, we have over 100 volunteers to help you in Chester and Delaware counties. You can get advice from true experts in a variety of fields, and you don't have to pay for it. We provide this help through mentoring, webinars, and live events, plus courses on demand and an extensive online library of additional resources. For this webinar, we have some rules of engagement. First, everyone should know that we're recording Jessica's talk today, and it will be made available later to you on the emails that you used to sign up for the event. We've placed you on mute, so we don't have everyone talking at once. Please put your questions in the Q&A box, and we'll try to respond to those as we go through the presentation and at the end. And any more comments or references you can put in the chat box. Excuse me. Now I'd like to introduce our presenter. Excuse me. We're so pleased today to have Jessica Baldwin with us. Jessica is the co-founder of CardSetter, an easy-to-use website platform with custom design and setup included. Jessica has been helping small businesses launch successful websites for over 8 years, and she's also spent more than 10 years in her own successful blog and entertainment website for Billings, Montana, billing365.com. Jessica has been on both sides of website development as a customer and then later as part of the development community, giving her robust understanding of the entire process. There we go.
Great.
And I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm Jessica, and I want to welcome you to today's webinar. We're going to talk about how to win customers with your website. So here's what we'll be covering today. We're going to go through some common website misconceptions. Working through these is going to help you have a better mindset when it comes to your website and its performance. We'll discuss the important role your website plays in your online marketing strategy. We're going to provide a framework to help you develop your winning strategy. We'll walk through a few relevant examples, and then we'll discuss how to set your website up to help execute your strategy. I'm your host today. And as Stephen mentioned, I have a lot of experience in the website space. In 2009, I launched a small online business called Billings365.com. It was a website for events and things to do in Billings, Montana. And then later, I became a partner in a website design agency where we did custom WordPress websites for small businesses. And I learned a lot about the needs of website owners, both from the perspective of being one and in serving others as their development agency. So in 2016, my co-founder Josh and I decided to build our own website platform, and that is CardSetter. So my whole world has really been websites and online marketing for over 12 years now. We do have a workbook that goes with this webinar that you are welcome to download if you like. Full disclosure, you will get some emails that go with it. They are helpful emails, completely educational, but just so you have that information, I'm going to go ahead and drop the link in the chat so that you have it easy to access if you'd like to download that. But the workbook will help help you outline your strategy as we go through the steps today. Okay, so let's get into some common misconceptions about websites and their efficacy. So the first one is, a lot of business owners will say, I get all my customers through word of mouth, none from my website. So many business owners will hail the ever elusive word of mouth as the sole source of bringing in customers. But this misconception really underestimates the actions that people will take prior to becoming your customer. So even if people hear about your business from a friend or acquaintance, they're likely to visit your website to get more information before contacting you or coming into your business. So it's still important to make a good impression with a professional website. My site isn't at the top of Google search results, and that's why I don't have more sales. So ranking at the top of Google or any search engine is great. It's definitely a goal worth striving for, but it's not the answer to all your problems. SEO is just one channel out of many different options to bring traffic to your website, but it can't be responsible for what happens after that, right? Once you get people to your website, either through, search engine optimization or, being found at the top of search results for a particular keyword or some other marketing channel. Once they get there, your website has to engage the website visitor to stick around, has to educate them about what you do, and it has to help convert them into a lead or sale. Now, even if you start ranking at the top of relevant search results for the right keyword, your website is unlikely to convert someone in one single visit. At that point, the person is just becoming aware of your business. So you're going to need to get your brand in front of the audience again and again, which is why you can't really rely on just one channel like SEO. I have a Facebook page, Instagram account, or TikTok, or whatever insert social media platform of choice. I don't need a website. So it's true that growing a following on social media can be a great way to get in front of your audience on a regular basis, but you still need a website. A website is where you have control over how your brand is presented. You need it for any online advertising that you want to do. It's going to help you facilitate online sales and lead generation. It ensures that you look professional. It's a place on the internet that you control instead of an algorithm. On social media, you're at the mercy of Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Pinterest, or LinkedIn's priorities. So they can change their algorithm, and in a second, your marketing channel no longer reaches your audience. I can tell you with Facebook particularly, this happened really quickly for a lot of businesses. It used to be a great place to have a business page. Pretty much everyone that followed you for some time saw all of your updates. And then Facebook decided, no, we're going to try to prioritize friend content, or for a time they were really pushing publisher content, a lot of BuzzFeed articles and things like that. And just overnight, those businesses who really relied on Facebook to connect with their audience just completely lost their key marketing channels. So you want to try to protect yourself against that kind of thing. And utilize your website as a component to connecting with your audience, and maybe use it to help you collect email addresses or phone numbers, leads, so that you have that contact information. You can get in touch with your audience at all times. And the last one, my website is simply ineffective. It doesn't bring me any customers. So this may or may not be true. Your website design, layout, or the text on the page might be ineffective for a variety of reasons. However, the problem could also be that you're not getting enough website traffic to your website in the first place, or that your marketing activities aren't producing enough frequency and repetition with your audience to get them to act. So if you think about your own behavior, how often do you really see a single ad for a product or service, whether that's on TV or when you're online or whatever the case may be, you see one ad and you decide, I absolutely have to have that. I'm going to buy it right now. Not very often, right? That does not happen to most of us very often. We might see an ad, oh, that's interesting, kind of, move on to whatever we were doing and go about our day. Now, your website visitors are the same way, right? They're unlikely to visit your website one time and act immediately. So you have to find a way to bring them into your world, make them aware of your business, and then be in front of them when they are ready to act. So we need to stop thinking of our website on its own as this single thing that does or doesn't work. Your website plays an important role in your overall marketing mix. It's not going to be effective all by itself. So now that we've gone through those common misconceptions, we'll look at your website's role in marketing your business online. So your website plays an important role for the following reasons: establishing your brand. As I mentioned earlier, your website is really your home on the internet where you get to express your brand voice and control the experience for your website visitors and your customers. Professionalism. Your business looks more legitimate when you have a professional website, and professionalism goes a long way in building trust with your audience. So they're more likely to work with you. Just as an example, and no shade to anyone who's, using a free Wix account or anything like that. But sometimes when you sign up for those free tools, they'll have a giant banner at the top of the website that says, this website is powered by Wix or whatever the case may be. I would encourage you to move to a paid plan, only because when you hit a website like that and you see that, this is powered by Wix, it obviously is on a free plan, and it might give off the impression that this business is not well established. And if your website visitors feel that the website is not well established, they might have less trust doing business with you. So that's just an example of where, taking a little bit extra step to look a little bit more professional might help build more trust with the website visitors so they feel comfortable, doing business with you. Compounding results. So investing in the success of your website through ongoing improvements, adding new content, things like that, is going to have compounding lasting effects. So every time, you make improvements to your website, you add new content, add information to your blog, add resources for your audience, those actions work together to help grow your website traffic over time. Adding value. Your website is a place where you can add value for your target audience. So you can, compile useful information and resources for them, really give them a place to come back again and again for good information within your niche. It's essential it's an essential marketing tool. So whether you're offering a product, a service, or information, you need a place for people to land, gather more information about what you do, and, sign up for your product or service, or, one of your lead capture resources. If you do any type of online advertising, you need a landing page for your ads. And you need a place where you can install pixels from those ad accounts, which help track how the ad is performing and things like that. So you can do retargeting campaigns and continue to market to your audience. You really need a website for this type of online marketing. Getting found. Websites rank far better than a Facebook page, for example, or any other social media page for your keywords. So, it is important to take the opportunity to show up in relevant search results. because those people are actively searching for a product or service like yours. Whereas, on social media, your exposure with your audience is a little bit more passive. Engagement. So your website is where people can really spend time with your content. On your website, they can really dig in and discover more about what you do, and, dig into the resources that you provide, which is going to deepen your engagement with them. Measurement. You can evaluate how your marketing is performing by reviewing your website analytics. So as you start to do some marketing, you can start to see how that impacts your website traffic, the pages people are visiting, how much time people are spending on your website and things like that. It's a place to generate leads. As I mentioned, you want to try to grow a database of potential customers, and you can do that by creating content that people can enter their email address to get, or, enable simple inquiries to come through your website, and then start a database of that contact information. And then facilitating sales and transactions, right? We want to convert visitors and our followers into customers. If you want someone to buy a product or sign up for your service, you need a way to facilitate that transaction, and your website is a good place to do this. But now, how do you set your website up to help you succeed? So there's a lot of advice out there, right, about website design or layout. So you might get advice about making sure your content is laid out left to right reading pattern. You might hear about button placement and choosing the right colors. And all of that information is helpful to help design a professional and good looking website. And those types of things can improve the performance of your website. But these types of tips are not a magical solution to winning customers if you don't have some other important marketing pieces in place. And what I worry about with that type of advice is that it's easy for website owners to kind of fixate on that then. So they'll launch their website and feel like, well, I got a few hundred people to my website and I don't have a bunch of signups. So then instead of looking at the whole marketing mix of what maybe they need to do to improve that, they say, oh, well, something must be wrong with the website. And so it's really easy to go down a rabbit hole of, if I just change this image, if I just change this headline, if I just change the color of this button, all kinds of little tweaks to the website that they think are going to make a big difference. But in reality, the more likely problem is the marketing supporting the website. So winning customers with your website is not magic. It doesn't come down to just, the change of a button color or anything like that. I wish it were that simple. It really is going to take a lot of trial and error to figure out what works with your audience. But once you come up with a strategy that works, it can have amazing results. So you have to come up with a winning strategy for your business. There's no one size fits all template for this. So I'm going to provide a framework today that's going to help you come up with your strategy. And we have 2 essential steps to complete before we get to work on your website. We want to define our ideal customer and then map out our customer's journey. So in nearly every webinar that I present, I talk about defining your ideal customer because I believe it is the most critical initial step to getting your website and your marketing right. So your ideal customer, who is the type of person that is most likely to resonate with your products and services? So we want to do this so that we're thinking about who the website is actually for and what are their needs. So a lot of times when we start a business and we need a website, we kind of think of the website as the website is for us, it's for our business. But in reality, our website is actually for our target audience, our ideal customer, the person that we want to do business with. So we need to think about our website from their perspective. So I like to start with just a simple fill in the blank statement to help think about this person. It says, as a type of person, I want some goal so that some reason. So you would complete that from the perspective of your ideal customer. So just as an example, a health coach might fill that out as a busy working parent, I find it challenging to find time for fitness, but I want to feel fit and healthy so that I have more energy to play with my kids after work. Now, not every health coach obviously has the same ideal client. So not every health coach is going to fill that out the same exact way. They're going to customize it to the ideal customer that, they want to work with, or that they know they can best help. From there, you can layer on additional information. How old is this person? What is their career, educational background? What are their interests? What type of media do they consume? Where do they hang out online? This is going to help you create your strategy in a way to resonate with your potential customers. Then we want to map out our customer journey. So your customer is going to go through different phases in their experience with your brand. This is an area that's often overlooked by a lot of business owners. We think like, oh, I'm going to put my website up and then I'm going to run a Facebook ad and get some signups. But again, it's really rare for someone to see one ad, hit your website one time, and buy something instantly. That's not to say that it never happens, but that definitely shouldn't be the expectation in your business. We have to nurture our audience along and provide information and messaging that meets them at the stage they are at, right? So these are kind of the standard stages of a marketing funnel. So at the awareness stage, we just want to get our brand and our business in front of our ideal audience. We want them to know that our business exists and that we can fulfill a need or solve a problem for them. At this stage, we're really just bringing people into our audience. In the consideration stage, the prospect knows they have a need or problem. They're now aware of your brand, and they're probably starting to do some research or trying to decide what's right for them. They might be, trying to justify spending the money for your product or service. They're trying to decide how or if they're going to move forward. And then in the conversion stage, they're ready to act, and you want them to move forward with your brand. So this is where they take action to solve their problem. And then finally, I like to add a stage for retention. We're not going to focus on this too much, but once they do become a customer, how can you continue to meet their needs? Will they be a source of referrals or reviews? Will they make repeat purchases? Are they on, a subscription type of plan with you where you want to keep them? So, how do you keep them happy and keep them as a subscriber, for example? We're going to focus on the stages that come, to conversion, because we're talking about how to win customers with your website, but retention is something that you should think about when you think about your customer journey. So your outreach, the message that you provide to the audience, and how you deliver that message are going to be crafted to each stage. So at each of those stages, what is the message that needs to be communicated to your prospect, and how are you going to deliver that message to them? So what type of content makes sense at the awareness stage? What do they, how are you going to get their attention initially? Then once you have their attention, and they're in the consideration stage, what type of information do you need to provide to help them understand your product or service? And then what's going to motivate them to take action and become a customer? So at the awareness stage, you might use relevant content to get the attention of your ideal customer. And then maybe you're going to have a newsletter or free resource that they can sign up for. And then maybe they go into an email sequence where you can get your brand in front of them on a regular basis and help move them into that consideration stage. Maybe you're going to run some retargeting ads to get them back to your website. So you're nurturing the audience along in the consideration stage. And then after some time, hopefully you have a bunch of people who've been in that consideration stage for a while. They've been thinking about your brand. They're fully aware and engaged with your brand. So then at that stage, maybe it's time to send them an email with a special offer or run an ad for a sale with the intent of getting them to sign up or make a purchase today. So you want to stay engaged with your prospect through all of these stages. And you should expect people to spend time within each stage before moving to the next. And different people are going to move from one stage to the next at different speeds. Now, as people move through the customer journey, you are going to lose people out of your funnel, right? You're going to have more people coming into the awareness stage than make it into consideration, because you're going to, get the attention of some people that are going to be interested. They're never going to be a customer. They're just not right for your business. But as you go down in the journey, people become more qualified as a potential customer or client or lead. So the audience gets smaller, but it gets more targeted and more right for your brand as people move through it. Now, the easiest way to understand that is to walk through an example for this. I know this can all be a little bit overwhelming and feel a little bit abstract, like what does all this mean? How am I actually going to apply this information? But I think if we look at an example, you can it'll help you understand, how you would apply this strategy. So Penelope's Plant Place is our make-believe business. It's a small nursery located in Colorado Springs, Colorado. So Penelope doesn't have a landscaping crew. She really caters to the do-it-yourselfer. So she sells plants and accessories from her physical location. But she also offers professional design services so that customers who want help making a landscaping plan can get it. She knows that providing those consulting services increases her plant sales. So Penelope's ideal customer is the avid do-it-yourselfer, and she knows that new homeowners often fall into this category. So she might fill in her customer statement like this: as a new homeowner on a budget, I want to add plants to my home so that it reflects my personal style and is a warm and inviting place to be, but I don't know much about plants or landscape design. Then on her website, she's going to try to appeal to that ideal customer that she's identified. So she's going to craft a headline and some other text to kind of appeal to the needs of that ideal customer. So it says, personalize your space, visit Penelope's Plant Place, and then some support text there that says, we're here to help you DIY your dream space. Personalize the interior and exterior of your home with plants that will survive, thrive, and look great too. So you can see how, coming up with that ideal customer persona, creating a statement for them, helped to guide the text that goes on the website then. So now, what are some ways that Penelope can use her website to attract and nurture this ideal customer to actually become a customer? So first, let's think about that awareness stage. Penelope wants to make her ideal customer aware of her business. So if she thinks about what this person might be doing before they take any action to spruce up their home, they're probably going to start doing some online research, right? So maybe they're looking for plants that are even, appropriate for their area's climate. So on her website, Penelope is going to create a comprehensive guide with articles about plants that thrive in Colorado Springs. And she's going to focus this guide, of course, on plants that she also carries in her store. Now, if someone is reading this type of information on her website, then they're probably a good prospect to be in her market and need to buy some plants. But they might not be ready to buy, right now. So Penelope wants to try to keep them in her audience in the meantime. So she's going to add a lead capture to her articles. So just a way for people to enter their email address to get a resource that would be valuable to them. So Penelope has created a do-it-yourself landscaping guide that includes different layouts and plant recommendations. And she's going to put that sign-up form for the guide on all of her articles. So then with email addresses in her database, she can send periodic newsletters to her prospects to stay top of mind. She could also run retargeting ads on Facebook and Instagram or Pinterest to the people who've visited her website to keep that audience engaged with her brand. So then those ads and those newsletters are going to link back to her website, maybe to more website content or different landing pages on her website. And she's fostering this connection with her audience throughout that consideration stage, right? She's keeping her brand in front of them. She's continuing to provide useful information. She's helping to educate them about what she does and keeping her store in front of them. So in that consideration stage, she could even add in more sales-oriented content. So maybe she could send some newsletters that have before and after customer stories with photos that showcase her design work. She could highlight the benefits of getting design help to ensure a smoother do-it-yourself landscaping project. So now Penelope is attracting people to her website with quality content. She's keeping them engaged by continuing to offer quality information and resources. But now, how does she get these people to become customers? Well, because she's top of mind with her audience now, she might get some natural conversions, right? People who've visited her website, maybe receive her newsletter, some Saturday might come up and they're like, oh, I'm ready to start my project. Let's go to that store that I get the emails from. But for some people, she needs to incentivize them to act, right? So Penelope comes up with an offer that she's going to present to her warmest audience members. So maybe people who've opened or clicked on the most emails, for example. So Penelope decides to offer free 30-minute consultations plus a 20% off coupon for those who book one of those free consultations. So she knows that when her customers get a little design help, they're happier with the end result and they're better prepared to care for their plants. She also knows that they'll buy more plants when given the confidence they need to succeed in the process. So customers can simply book their free consultation through her website. So now Penelope is actively utilizing her website to nurture her audience through all of the stages of the customer journey. So she's attracting them with quality content. She's keeping them engaged by retargeting them through email and online ads to bring them back to her website as she nurtures them along. And she's providing incentive to empower them to act and convert. But now, as you can imagine, Penelope's specific tactics might not work for your business because you have a different business and you have a different ideal customer. So, let's look at a different example. Let's look at one that's more of a direct sales type of business. So Tim offers consulting services to universities and large organizations to make their campuses more energy efficient. So he saves them money while also reducing their climate impact. So he has a very specific decision maker that he needs to reach within these organizations. And for him, it's actually more efficient for him to find out who that decision maker is and reach out by email or phone to make them aware of his business. But Tim should still have a quality professional website, right? So it's less likely that his prospects are finding him through online search or social media, and more likely that they're visiting his website after he's reached out. But he'd still want to make a good impression to even that small audience that's visiting his website, right? So he'd want to have a nicely designed professional website. He might have something like a calculator or a white paper that explains how much universities can save with his help, or how much of a impact they could have on their carbon footprint by working with him. So his strategy is going to look a lot more like reaching out by email at the awareness stage, maybe trying to get those prospects to take a first look at his website to get more information. Then at the consideration stage, he's providing that white paper, bringing them back to the website to get that download. He's probably continuing to engage with his prospects through follow-up email, but he's using his website to help support that strategy. And then to get people to convert, he'd probably like to book a phone call or online meeting. So he's going to have a book a consultation option on his website. But again, he's probably, getting that meeting by following up through email or phone calls, and then sending his prospects to his website to take action and convert. So his strategy is very email focused, but his website is helping support the strategy by giving him a professional appearance, housing important content that he's pointing those prospects to, and enabling the conversion event of a booked meeting. So to develop your own strategy, you need to go back to thinking about your ideal customer and what are their needs. Then, how can you attract them to your business at the beginning of their journey? How can you just get their attention, get in front of them at that awareness stage? Then how can you engage with them while they're in that consideration stage? How can you motivate them to act at the conversion stage? Once they're customers, how can you retain them or keep them coming back? So you want to ask yourself these questions and then decide what message you're going to deliver at each stage and how you're going to deliver it. And the workbook that I dropped the link in the chat for is going to help you outline all of that for your own strategy and help you think about what your website needs to carry out that strategy. This might be a good spot to stop for questions.
We have a couple in the Q&A, really from Laura, and they're related to sending emails, which is not specific to what you're talking about, but Laura said she's interested in sending emails and understanding how to keep emails from going into spam, and also to increase the open rates.
Yes. Okay. So this can get into a lot of technical, and I'm not I wouldn't consider myself an email expert, but I've gone through my own trials and tribulations with email. So open rates, sending good quality content, information that your ideal customer wants, not always being promotional with your emails, but delivering good, useful content and information can help increase open rates. Giving people something they look forward to getting is going to help with open rates. Deliverability stuff can also help with open rates. So I would probably encourage, if you're real concerned about the sending and deliverability piece, it might be good to get someone, some professional help with that type of thing. for example, we've gone through all of that and we send our emails through, what is it called? SendGrid, which is like a SMTP server that helps us send emails from our own like IP address. So they're not lumped in. Like when you send from MailChimp, you're using shared IPs with all of their customers. And if you have like a bad customer, if they have bad customers sending spammy emails, it can affect everyone on the
everybody.
platform. So there's a lot that goes into that. The simple things you can do are, you know, making sure that you're sending quality emails. One of the things you can do is kind of warm up your list, send to a small subset of people that you know are likely to open your emails and engage with them. And that helps your domain have a better online reputation in email that can help deliverability. It's a whole, I feel like it's a whole science unto itself.
It's
So I would
technical, yeah.
encourage, you know, talking to an expert in email about those things.
Thank you. Another question in chat from Carol is, can you give an example for a pizzeria? Is that too specific?
No, so same type of thing. So in a pizzeria case, I imagine, you know, that's going to be very local search oriented. You're obviously serving customers within a certain area. So, you know, you might consider like, how am I going to get their attention? I feel like food does well on social. So maybe you're going to run like TikTok or Facebook ads to people within your geographic area, within your service area, get them over to your website. Maybe when they hit your website, there's like a coupon for 10% off their first order. So then they put their email address in for that. So that way, if they don't order right away, you have their email address and you can remind them, you know, to use their 10% off coupon or send them emails about, you know, maybe your specials of the month and things like that. So you can stay engaged with them. I mean, who wouldn't love looking at delicious pizza images on a regular basis? And I'm sure that that would compel some of those people to, you know, order a pizza at some point or come in if it's a physical location.
Great, thank you. One more question. Can you remind us where we can find the link to your workbook? Well, it's in the chat.
Yeah, I can post it.
I can answer that one.
Okay.
Everyone should have access to the chat. So hopefully that answers your question. Okay, that's it.
Okay. Okay, so once you've gone through those questions for your business, you need to configure your website then to do its part within the process, right? So you're going to need some essential tools to help you carry out your strategy. The first is, you know, a professional and compelling website. So your website has to be set up to meet the needs of your ideal customer at all of these stages. So we're going to get into some tools that you'll need to carry out your strategy. But first you need just a good base, right? Your website has to adequately communicate what your business offers and why it matters to your ideal customer. So again, if you think about your ideal customer and the journey that they're going to take to becoming a customer, how can your website meet their needs? So of course you need a good quality homepage that, you know, speaks to your ideal customer. So you want to focus on capturing your prospects' attention when they hit your homepage. So in the top section of my homepage, or what I would call the hero section, I like to focus on what I call a key benefit statement. So why is your business the best choice for your ideal customer? So come up with some kind of headline that kind of goes there, speaks to their needs, and then some support text to help back up that key benefit statement. And then Feature your primary call to action. So when they are ready to become a customer, what should they do? Make that your primary call to action and have it somewhere, prominently displayed on your homepage. Now, people, as I said, people aren't going to hit your homepage and just, instantly read what you have in the hero section and instantly become a customer. But we want to get them interested enough to continue scrolling or to go a bit deeper into the website, right? So we're trying to grab their attention and then try to encourage them to get further into the website so they can learn more. So what else does your prospect need to consume in their journey to becoming your customer? So this is going to be very specific to every business, right? They might need to see an overview of your services or your programs. They might need to better understand how your service works. They might need to consume case studies on how you've helped others in your industry. They might want to see your pricing. If you're a pizzeria, they probably want to see your menu and, descriptions of all your menu items. So consider what pieces of information are going to be essential in this process, and then make sure that your website has a good base of content for your prospect as they travel through each stage of the customer journey. Going back to the pizzeria example, they're going to want to see the menu and the food items that are available. But another piece in their journey might be, does this pizzeria deliver to my location? So, including information about your delivery area and things like that. What are the things that they're going to want to know before they convert and take action on your website? We do have, so for those of you who don't have a website yet, you need help planning out your website in full. We do have a free website planning tool that you can download at that link, freewebsiteplanner.com/score. And then we do have other webinars that we do with SCORE to help with the website planning process. So look for those on the SCORE calendar because we might have some of those coming up as well. So going beyond those essentials, though, we need some other tools on our website to help our website do its part within that customer journey. So the first is content management. So there are plenty of things that you can do to raise awareness of your business. That would include your social media posts, any advertising you're doing, maybe some sponsorships. But when it comes to your website, one of the most powerful things you can do at that stage is have relevant content on your website. So, publishing blogs or articles, different resources, maybe putting up videos on your website that, help your ideal customer with something or are related to your industry or your niche. Content has many different uses in your marketing strategy. It helps with your search engine optimization results or helps you, show up higher in Google search results and things like that. It gives your visitors a reason to visit your website and return. It provides content that you can use to post to social media and in your newsletter and more. So you're going to want to come up with some content for your website that's going to appeal to your ideal audience. And you'll need to set your website up to make the best use of that content. Now, you'll often see companies plop a blog page on their website, and more often than not, the last post was made over a year ago. We don't want to do that. Now, part of the problem with this particular approach is that it kind of relies on a continuous flow of timely content, and most small businesses just can't keep up with that. So my approach to content is I like to come up with what I would call content collections. So if you think about topics that your audience is going to be interested in, how could you create, long-standing resources around those topics? So you want to make a collection of maybe 3 to 5 or more articles that go together around a particular topic and assemble them into a guide on your website. So in the example on this page, I'm showing you Cardsetter's resources page. So we have, a page full of content that helps our audience with website planning and website strategy. So we've assembled all of those into collections to provide a valuable one-stop resource for our audience. But in our earlier example, Penelope was going to have the ultimate guide to plants that thrive in Colorado Springs. So she's going to take all those articles and put them on one page on her website. And then instead of just having random blog posts on her website about plants, she has a, nice, good looking, useful collection of information for her website audience. This encourages people to, visit the website, return to the website for more information, and actually stay on the website longer because they know that there's, multiple articles to consume about these various plants. So rather than, trying to write a blog post every week, which usually ends up being like, what should I write about this week? Oh, I know I really need to add a new blog post, but I have all this other stuff that I have to do in my business. I like to take it as more of like a project. So I'm going to create a good collection of resources for my ideal audience. Once I get all of that done, I have that collection done. It's up on my website. I can promote all of that information to my audience, and then I can move on to the next collection at a later time when I have time to take on that project. Okay. So other tools that your website needs to help implement your strategy. So customizable forms. So whether you're offering, if you wanted to do a lead capture, like in the example of, in Penelope's example, if you want to register people for a webinar, if you want to run a contest, maybe you want to let people sign up for a discount, you need a form to accept those submissions. So some website platforms have website builders built into them, but there are several third-party options that can actually offer more features and flexibility. A couple that I like are Cognitoforms and Jotform, which have free plans to start with, and you can just add those forms to your website. An e-newsletter. So you're going to want to be able to follow up with people who provide their emails to you. So you're going to need an e-newsletter software to do so. Now, some of those email newsletters will also have forms with the e-newsletter platform. So you can add, a form from MailChimp to each of your articles. When people fill that out, they automatically land in your MailChimp account for future communications, things like that. So which you choose for your forms just kind of depends on your specific needs. If you're registering people for a webinar, the forms in MailChimp probably aren't going to work. So you might want to use something like Jotform or Cognitoforms for that. But regarding email, follow-up is really important during that consideration stage where you're trying to engage with your potential customers. So you want your email sign up or lead capture strategy integrated with your website. But remember that you're also going to need a strategy to reach out on a regular basis. So that's, where the website and ongoing strategy kind of diverge. You're going to capture leads with your website, but then it's within the e-newsletter software where you're going to create a sequence of emails to send out to people who've opted into your email list. And as I mentioned earlier, when we were talking about deliverability, you want to make sure that you are focusing at first on simply providing good, useful, helpful information. Your e-newsletter subscribers don't want to feel like they're constantly being sold to. So it's a good idea to kind of nurture them along with helpful content and information before sending out like a promotion or trying to get them to become a customer or sign up as a lead or whatever the case may be. Chat. So you can install chat on your website to answer questions as people are browsing your website. I'm sure you've all been on websites now that have a little chat bubble that pops up when you visit the site. My recommendation here is actually to use Facebook Messenger. So you can install a little Facebook Messenger chat on your website that'll pop up that little bubble. But what's nice about that is if you have Facebook Messenger, the app on your phone, that way, whenever someone sends an inquiry, you get the notice that you have a new inquiry because it's very mobile oriented. You can respond right away. Feels just like texting with your potential customer. So I like that option and it's free. But there's plenty of other options if for any reason, Facebook is not something you want to use. Landing pages. So a landing page is really just a single promotional page that you're going to use, to promote something. So that might be a landing page for a lead capture resource, promoting sign up for a webinar, maybe a landing page about some free 6-week program that you have, something like that. So as you roll out various marketing programs, you need nice landing pages to help with your promotion. So you want to make sure that you can easily create those with your website or on your website in your website platform. Appointment scheduling. So appointment scheduling can be really useful for service-based businesses, consultants, and professionals. You can let prospects book a consultation or a demo during that consideration stage, or you can let customers book an appointment for your services from your website. A popular option for that is Calendly. So you can look at that one or Calendly alternatives for appointment scheduling on your website. E-commerce and payments. If you're selling physical or digital products on your website, you need a way to facilitate those transactions. There are many different ways to accomplish this depending on your specific needs. You might need a shopping cart if people are going to be adding more than one item to the cart before checking out. But if you're accepting payments for a webinar or a course or something like that, you can probably just use a customizable form for something like a webinar registration. You don't need a full e-commerce and cart system for things like that. A payment processor. If you're going to be taking payments on your website of any kind, you need a payment processor to process credit cards. I'm a big fan of Stripe for this, but there's lots of other options, Square, PayPal, or there's all kinds of payment processors out there. I generally recommend Stripe because it works with a lot of different online tools. So you can integrate it with a lot of form builders and things like that so that you can take payments through a form. Analytics. Measuring your website activity is going to be essential. You need to know how your efforts are paying off. So make sure you install Google Analytics on your website when it launches. This is going to help you see what pages and content are performing on your website. You can see how many people are visiting your pricing page or other sales intent pages, see if people are visiting from mobile devices or desktop. So you can get a lot of information to understand how your marketing is going. And then pixels. You want to install any pixels on your website for ad networks or social channels that you intend to use. So if you think in the future you might do any type of advertising on Facebook, Instagram, Google, LinkedIn, Pinterest, TikTok, whatever the case may be, all of these platforms will give you a pixel, which is just a snippet of code that goes in your website and helps track what kind of activity is being generated from your advertising on your website. It's important to have those installed sooner rather than later because you can't, you can only retarget people, for example, on Facebook from the point that the pixel has been installed. So if you already have a website, make sure that you're taking advantage of these features, and that your website, is set up for all the features that you need to execute your strategy. If you don't have a website and you're looking for a platform or provider, make sure that you're using one or okay. So to summarize, way that you're win customers, understand who you're trying to communicate with, and you're going to map out the customer journey. How can you attract your ideal customer website at the awareness stage? How to engage with them and educate them about your products and services during the consideration stage? How can you compel them to convert at that conversion stage? And then you're going to set your website up to do its part. You're going to set your website up to execute your strategy. So you're going to have a good base with a compelling homepage. You're going to include relevant information that's going to help your prospects understand how you can help them. You're going to create relevant content for your ideal customer, and you're going to utilize the features and tools that are going to help you accomplish those goals. I know that that is a lot to cover in an hour. But I hope the information that we've provided here has helped you, think about how your website can help you win over your customers. It definitely takes some critical thought and setup to get everything working together. But be sure to think of this as an iterative process. You're not going to get everything perfect right away. You're going to take simple steps and make improvements over time. Test out different strategies for each stage, monitor the results, and see where you can make improvements. And with that, I'll open it up for questions.
There's one from Dupree's. Do you have tools on how to add pixels? I struggle with that greatly.
So typically, the ad platforms will offer directions on how to install the pixels, or the platform that your website is on will provide directions, because they all work a little bit different, and where the code goes works a little bit differently. But generally, the pixel just gets copy and pasted into what's called your global site code, so that the pixel runs across all of the pages on your website.
One thing I wanted to thank everyone here, and thank you so much, Jessica. I learned a lot, and I used to develop websites, so I appreciate everything you said. There's so many great tools now to make that a really powerful website. That if you are interested in any support from SCORE, we have a number of mentors that can help. And then you can go to our website down there at the bottom, or contact us directly through email or phone, and we would be so happy to help. One thing I'm going to do is to launch a poll real quick, and if you just take a couple minutes and help us with some of your thoughts on how well we are supporting your needs and providing you webinars like this and other things that we might do, would be great. And with that, thank you again, Jessica, and we'll be done for the day.
Yeah,
Bye,
thanks
everybody.
everybody.